Hi, I'm Joy Vernon, and this is an episode of Joyous Echoes, in which I review old blog posts that I've written and give my commentary and kind of see if I have changed my mind about things in the many years since they've been written. So today we're going to look at the post called The Bamboo Reed. So here we have the post, The Bamboo Reed. It was written on August 2nd, 2010. So it's 10 years and a month old. And I've been going back to these old posts and adding in some images, which I didn't have images in the beginning. And this one I just found, and it is a bandit lying in wait, but this guy is playing a flute and calming down the bandit so that he won't attack because he's mesmerized by the flute. So the Bamboo Reed from August 2nd, 2010. So in Reiki, The Legacy of Dr. Usui, Arthur Frank Arjava Petter describes a Reiki practitioner as being like a hollow bamboo reed. Such a lovely and accurate analogy. I wish I'd thought of that comparison 2 years ago when I was talking with a couple of friends about Reiki. One had some training in Reiki and one was a novice. I had received my master teacher attunements 3 years earlier. I explained that the Reiki practitioner is a channel for Reiki, like a hollow tube. The friend with some experience added in, like a cup. I said, no, more like a pipe. And she said, like a vase. I smiled and nodded. It seemed like an equally valid way of looking at it. But to me, it is through being open to the descent from above, as well as allowing this energy to pour through us into the ground below, that we connect heaven and earth and become a conduit for spiritual energy. My friend's concept of the vessel, closed at the bottom, creates a different metaphor. Her image suggests an experience of being filled up from above, containing that energy, and eventually overflowing with it. I think this is also a beautiful metaphor. It's just not how I feel when I'm doing Reiki. The energy pours into me, flowing out through my hands, feet, eyes, heart, and I am connected both above and below. To me, being connected and open to the earth is what stimulates the flow of energy. 3 symbols are learned in the second level of Reiki. Symbol 1 is a symbol for earth. Symbol 2 is a symbol for sky. Reiki teaches us that our first duty is to connect to the earth, to be grounded, perhaps even practical. The first symbol is called the power symbol, and it is enlightening to recognize that the power of spirituality comes not from the spiritual energy itself, but from our ability to ground that energy, to give it a way to flow into the earth. The earth is not filling up the practitioner, the energy is filling the earth. The practitioner is only the channel, like a hollow bamboo reed. The second Reiki symbol also means love, but the glowing feeling of being connected. The sky loves the earth, but as in all legendary romances, great forces separate the two. We are the unsuspecting helper who brings together these attracted opposites, and we heal in their loving embrace. The contemplation of the traditional Japanese poetic form waka is one method of Reiki meditation. The waka is a short form consisting of 31 syllables, often divided 5-7-5-7-7. In the spirit of the Reiki meditation, but not following that traditional form, I offer up this original poem. Bamboo flute, breath fills hollow reed, plays spirit. So that is the Bamboo Reed from 10 years ago. And I really like that. So far, the ones that I've written in the early years are ones that I really like. And I think that that point of the being connected to the earth is just one of the most important points that can be made about any kind of energy working. And anyone with any kind of formal training in energy work always learns to ground the energy prior to anything else, prior to trying to build it, prior to trying to direct it or anything. You know, I had a client contact me this week and describe this feeling of energy flowing through the body. I asked a few questions to try to get some kind of context for what this might be. And one of the things that came up is that it was experienced more when with other people. And so I'm like, okay, that sounds more like, it does sound like energy and not, you know, like a nerve problem or something. So I recommended the basic Reiki meditation that's taught in level 1 of Reiki, which is Joshin Kokyuho, which is stilling the mind with the breath. And I sent him to my blog, which is much more recently. I've got a post called Beginning Reiki Meditations, or just Reiki Meditation or something like that. And I sent him to that, and he, you know, immediately upon doing it, he felt better. And so this idea of learning to ground that energy, and it might feel good. And I asked him, those were some of the questions I asked. I said, does it feel pleasant to you? He said, yeah. And I asked, does it worry you? And he said it gets worrisome when he's around other people. Because he didn't say worrisome, he said overwhelmed. It gets overwhelming when he's around other people. Okay. So it sounds like, you know, we just need to practice grounding this energy. And that's the beginning of Reiki practice, is to learn to connect to the earth, learn to concentrate the energy. Joshin Kokyuho concentrates the energy in the tanden, in the lower tanden, the hara, or the belly. And when we concentrate the energy there, it grounds us. And you know, a lot of people are more likely, you know, if they're not trained, they're more likely to want to concentrate the energy at the heart, which is a nice place to concentrate it, but it increases your connection to other people. If you concentrate the energy into any energy center that's more connected to the earth. In the Japanese system, there's 3 energy centers. There's 3 tandens, and it's at the belly, at the heart, and at the head. If you activate that lower energy center, it will ground you and bring you down into that earth connection. And likewise, the symbols aren't taught in the system. In 2 of the systems that I've learned, 2 of the lineages that I've learned, the symbols aren't taught until level 2. And so that first symbol, which is taught in level 1 of some other lineages, that symbol is called the power symbol, but it's a symbol that connects us to the earth. And so I think that's just the most important thing to kind of remember with this. Energy work is not about feeling all buzzy up here. Energy work is feeling super grounded, and that'll make a huge difference in your capacity to channel more energy and to be able to actually apply that energy and use it and move it, direct it towards a purpose eventually. I think that this is a good one. It was such an interesting exchange to have her not get it. And at the time I didn't feel like it was, because even when I wrote this, I said it was 2 years. So I wrote this 10 years ago, and it was 2 years before that I'd had this conversation with that woman. And so I was just like, you know, she's got a point. That's pretty cool. If you fill it up and overflow it, that's pretty nice. And so, you know, who was I to say that there was a better way or a different way? But now the more that I've worked with this and taught, you know, so many Reiki classes and things like that, the more I'm, you know, the more valuable this becomes, to remember how important it is for that energy to flow into the earth, that it's not filling the practitioner, it's flowing through the practitioner and into the earth. So I hope that this was interesting to you. I do want to also address the poem. And that poem is like a mini haiku. It's 3 syllables, 5 syllables, 3 syllables. And I don't know where I learned that. I learned it somewhere though, and I really like working with it. It's so abbreviated, such an abbreviated form. But I really like that poem. Bamboo flute, breath fills hollow reed, plays spirit. And meditating on poetry and writing poetry are really good ways to connect you with spirit, to connect you with the flow of things, and to connect you with your own intuition. And I use poetry writing, not only have I used it in Reiki classes, but I've used it in tarot classes, and I've taught it in astrology classes. And so eventually we'll get to blog posts many years down the road. We'll see how fast I go through these and what my pace ends up being. Many years down the road that we'll come across a blog post in which I teach connecting with your intuition in order to read astrology charts and understand astrology via writing poetry. So hopefully that is of interest to you. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. Thanks very much. It was nice to talk to you, and thanks for joining me on this series. Bye.